Hello again, everyone. Welcome to a brand new edition of Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead, brought to you as always by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Well, the 2025 wagon wheel football game between Akron and Kent, it's going to be hard to duplicate the excitement on that one. The wagon wheel back at Kent for now. Meanwhile, Zip fans are talking about one of the greatest comebacks in Zip football history. Akron down 18 points. They come back to tie that football game 35-35 before losing in overtime 42-35. Now it's on to Bowling Green for the final game of the 2025 season. Tuesday night up at Doak Stadium. That will be a 7 o'clock kickoff. And Coach, you've had 3 or 4 days to digest that Kent game. I've thought about it for as long as you have, and maybe a couple final thoughts on that one.
Yeah, it's certainly you have to give credit to Coach Carney, his players and staff on an excellent football game. It was peak action. I think the fans in attendance and watching on TV got their money's worth, but just a true heartbreaker. I thought we showed a lot of fight and persistence, and ultimately they made one more play than we did.
Exactly. Right now, let's go back to Infovision Stadium on Tuesday night. Good crowd. I'll tell you what, the weather, it was cold, it was windy, and that'll play a factor as we take a look at highlights of the first half. Kent State wins the coin toss, and they reserve the kickoff, and Zip defense gets Kent off the field right away, 3 and out, Coach.
Yeah, we almost got the ball back on the first play. Wanted to keep it away from the Crawford kids, so we squibbed down the middle, and we're able to get a 3 and out and get the ball back quick. Yeah,
the Zips are going to go on a 9-play, 63-yard drive to take a 3-0 lead. Ben Finley, I think, Coach, was 3 for 3 on an opening drive. Passes to Marcel Williams, Kyan Mason, and tight end Connor Crayback.
Yeah, talked about scripting the openers for the first drive of the game. We were able to mix a run and the pass. March down the field. Unfortunately, we had to settle for a field goal, but it was good to.
Yeah, we get down to 4th and 1. Yeah, 4th and 1 at 11, and you kicked a field goal, and we're up early in the football game.
Yeah, wanted to take the points, wanted to create momentum, and we're able to feel good about the drive coming off the field.
This scramble right here, it just comes up about 1.5 yards short. I think we're going to go in the end zone.
Yeah.
From ground level, let's watch it again. Now the field goal is good from 29 yards out by Matt Schramm, and as we said, the Zips lead it 3-0. Zip defense is going to get another stop, Coach.
Yep, did a good job there. Like I said, keeping away from Crawford, one of the most dangerous returnmen in the conference and in the country, and got him backed up at the 10.
Good pursuit there.
Yeah, we knew that Kent State had trouble sustaining drives. A lot of their scores came from explosive plays, particularly through the air. We did a really good job stuffing the run, but unfortunately the major point of emphasis the entire week of not letting the ball get thrown over our head. No, we didn't execute that very well.
Big freshman Ronald Hall with the big play on that one.
Yes, sir.
Ben Finley driving again. And Marcel Williams, we're going to talk a lot about him today, but he had a career day, unbelievable.
Yeah, 14 catches over 200 yards, touchdown, really big breakout day for Marcel.
You would watch the chemistry develop between Finley and Marcel Williams, but for that game, it was just about on target every play.
Yeah, and you talk about Marcel and Izzy Polk and, Kyan Mason, unfortunately got hurt, and Gina Lee had a nice game stepping in, but it was certainly a big day for Marcel.
Zips down right now 7-3. Not a lot of possessions in that first half, Coach. I think we only had 3 in the first quarter, maybe only 2.
Yeah, and I think all but 1 resulted in points. So it was, like I said, not a lot of big strikes until the second half, but a really good job of taking what they gave us and kind of, like you said, moving methodically down the field.
Again, it's Marcel Williams, and he's going to make some nice moves after the catch.
Yep, common man free. DB had his eyes in the backfield. Marcel got behind him, and Ben put it in a spot where he can get it.
Again, over the middle, gets us all the way down to about the 7-yard line.
Yep, good RPO glance there to Kyan. Good pull by Ben there. Much better ball security this week, and then Gant punches it in.
Yeah, Jordan Gant runs the final 4 yards for the touchdown. Matt Schramm in with the PAT, and right now the Zips are back out in front, 10-7.
Yep, so feeling good about it. To answer the drive, and the touchdown there makes an appearance.
There's the PAT by Matt Schramm, the win, Coach, was that a factor in your mind? We didn't have it in the fourth quarter.
I tell you, it was a little less than I thought it was going to be during pregame, but certainly a small factor, but not one where you really had to change your play calling or thought process relative to kicking the ball or punting it.
Akron again right back on offense with a 10-7 lead, and we're going to watch from ground level again.
We got fortunate there. Tip ball that Marcel caught on another RPO glance, and I think this was a 90-yard drive. It ended up, being the go-ahead for the score to put us to 17.
Yeah, the Zips are going to go on an outstanding drive here, Coach, and you're going right down the field, running, passing the football, and doing pretty much what you want on offense.
Yeah, we felt good about our game plan. We knew that they committed a bunch of numbers to the box, right, by support or by pressure. So we had to be kind of smart with what we did, but knew it would open up some opportunities in the pass game.
Zips down 14-10, but they're going to take the lead.
Yeah, big fourth down conversion there by Ben on a run against a double-edged zero blitz. And, once again, mixing it up and our way down the field to a score.
Getting a good sideline pass, going to get it down the field, and Finley again is going to throw it outside, and seems like they were playing loose coverage, at least in that first half.
Yeah, they were a big man-to-man team with a lot of, closed middle or cover two, and, that last one there to Marcel, we had a 4 vertical shot. If it went cover two, we want to go down the seam. If it was man-to-man, we were going to take the matchup with Marcel and unrecognized man, and 100% of overthrown balls are incomplete. So we say you get a one-on-one. You either hit them in stride or you throw it short and let them go up and get it.
Well, this ball hangs up a long time, but good concentration.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's exactly. If he's not running by him, throw it short and let the receiver react to the ball.
You know, the Zips are up right now 17-14. Look at the numbers in the first half, Coach. 307 yards of offense. Kent had 184. 15 first downs. Kent had 4, but we're only up 17-14.
Yeah, I mean, we put points on the board. 17's a good number, and I think we probably had some more opportunities to make it. And but once again, our eye discipline and pass coverage, I think, are what led to some of their explosive plays.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to take a break, come back, and watch second half highlights right after this.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college,
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead. We're at halftime watching highlights from last Tuesday night's wagon wheel game over at InfoCision Stadium. The Zips up 17-14 at halftime. We're going to get the second half kickoff, and we get a great return, Coach. Brandon Hills is going to bring this one back 41 yards to midfield.
Yeah, big return, kicked it short and into the wind. Got some good blocks up front to get a seam, and created field position for the offense with the opening drive of the third quarter.
We're going to drive down the field, Coach, again. It's Ben Finley to Marcel Williams. We're going to get down there, and we're going to attempt a field goal, and unfortunately, it's going to hit the goalpost.
Yeah, same thing as the opening drive. Went into the locker room, made our adjustments, and kind of put a little mini opening script together, and it was the same result. Got down the field, weren't able to finish the drive off with a touchdown, but unfortunately weren't able to come away with points from the thing.
Yeah, so the score remains 17-14. Kent's going to score in another explosive play. They're up 21-17, and they didn't drive it a lot, Coach. It was all explosive plays, it seemed like.
Yeah, they did not. It was, I think, they had 2 red zone drives, both of which resulted in touchdowns, but their scores came from far.
Kent's going to go up now 28-17. And again, in that especially in that third quarter, Coach. The offense just couldn't generate points. That was a big quarter.
Yeah, we're moving the ball. Struggled a little bit on third down to convert. Had the one turnover, but like I said, the yardage wasn't matching the points there.
Zips down 28-17. It'll go to 35-17 as Kent's going to score on a play that kind of that bubble screen, and we missed the tackle.
Yeah, we were in the 3 deep, 2 under pressure, against a 3 detached swing screen, so those aren't great numbers. And kid made a good catch. Safety had an angle, and unfortunately he undercut and weren't able to get him on the ground.
So with about 11 minutes left in the game, the Zips are down 18 points, 35-17. Then the comeback begins. Coach, when did you feel like you could get back in this?
No, we knew we had to get a couple stops on defense and we said move the ball like we did in the third quarter, but just put it in the end zone. So there was a lot of confidence on the sideline. Kids knew we were going to be able to, finish off the drives, and one by one we were able to get that done.
Yeah, the Zips comeback starts with a 10-play, 75-yard drive for a touchdown. Finley with 5 completions on that drive. 12-yard TD pass from Finley to Williams. Matt Schramm with the PAT, and suddenly it's 35-24. One more look at that one. Great comeback for the catch.
Yep, got him in man-to-man, had a post option over the middle versus cover 0, and then fades against 1 high, and took the fade to Marcel and liked the matchup, and kid made a nice catch.
There's Matt Schramm with the extra point, 35-24. Now, one of the best onside kicks I think I've seen, Coach. This was great execution by Owen Wiley.
Yeah, this year 29 for me. I've seen this thing called a bunch of times. I've seen it work less than it does, but that's just about dang perfect execution there.
He put great English on that because the ball seemed to come back to Marcel Williams right in front of you.
Yeah, Marcel did about everything. Caught it, threw it with 2-point, and recovered an onside kick.
So the Zips right now down 35-24 on the way to an outstanding comeback, and going to get the ball all the way down to the 2-yard line. We kick a field goal, Coach.
Yeah, we thought right there that we were going to need 2 scores anyway. Didn't want to deal with the psychological blowback of not scoring there, and then we just want to get points on the board and say, hey, let's get it to a 1-score game. Confident that we would get the ball back and score again.
Boy, here's a big hit, fumble by Kent State quarterback. I think Ronald Hall recovers it, and here we go again with the football and driving again.
Yep, kind of tried to take a shot there on the first one. They had it covered up, so we took the check down, and like I said, just took a bunch of positive plays, and then ultimately ended up scoring to pull.
Finley with plenty of time to throw right down the middle. I think that's the tight end, Krayback, with a good catch in the middle of the field.
Yeah, mesh play versus cover 2. He was the over the ball route, made a good progression, and got him the throw.
From ground level, let's watch it again. Good throw, and that's Israel Polk with the catch. Finley again over the middle. That's a touchdown for the Zips.
Yeah, good slot option route on both sides. They went to 3 deep, 3 under. He sat down in the seam, and Ben delivered a good accurate ball, and he held on to it.
This is a good catch. Yeah, I think he knew he was going to get hit, but he caught it anyway.
Oh yeah, feels a lot better after you.
And that's going to be a penalty right there.
Yep.
Now here's one of the best 2-point conversions we've seen. The pitch, the throw, the catch, and suddenly it's 35-35. That's worth another look.
Yeah, we've been working on this one for weeks, hoping for an opportunity to use it. Caught him in man-to-man coverage. And generally speaking, no one accounts for the QB.
We're tied at 35-35. We get the football back, Coach, and are moving down the field, and just one pass away from maybe kicking a field goal to win it in regulation.
Yeah, we got that thing down to the 50. We wanted to see if we get that down right around the 30, and unfortunately weren't able to complete it. And then thing got to overtime. They scored on the first play, and we missed the 4th down conversion.
Exactly. They on their first, I think, snap after that 35-35, they had fumbled the football. Yeah. I'm not sure how close. You watched it on tape. How close did we come to get that?
It was close. The Shields fell on it. Cyrus Sturm was kind of there trying to tug it out, but that obviously would have been a good turn of events for us.
Exactly. So the Zips lose in overtime, 42-35. But what a football game, as you said. The wagon wheel at Kent. For now, but there's always future games. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the program. Right now, we're going to take a break, talk about some of the top individual performances against Kent right after this.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college, you know?
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Right now, let's take a look at some of the top individual performances for the Zips against Kent State on Tuesday night. Let's start with wide receiver Marcel Williams, a transfer from Marshall. 14 catches, 206 yards, 2 TD catches, made tough catches all over the field, and then completed a 2-point conversion pass to Ben Finley. Coach, I'm not sure there's been a better performance by a wide receiver since you've been here.
Yeah, and recovered an onside kick.
Exactly. He did it all.
Everything but sing the national anthem. So career day for Marcel. Very happy for him, you know, and he just you know, was able to get open, make contested catches, make things happen. We yards after contact, and like I said, just had a great day.
Yeah, let's take a look at the numbers for quarterback Ben Finley. He was 32 for 59, 424 yards, 3 TDs. He was sacked 6 times, Coach, but he was the guy that kept us in that game and was instrumental in that big comeback.
Yeah, really gritty effort by Ben.
Yeah.
Particularly when we had to throw it a bunch there in the fourth quarter and knew we would be under duress from the pass rush. But, you know, highest yardage total, highest completions, you know, 3 touchdowns, just a 1 bad decision on the interception. Also did some nice things with his feet as well.
Exactly. Running back Jordan Gant ran for 104. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he is 46 yards short for running for 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, he is. Jordan had another nice day. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, you know, get him a bunch of carries in the fourth quarter because we had to throw it. But, you know, continues to be productive with his opportunities. And, you know, really a nice day running the ball.
Israel Polk, wide receiver, caught 4 balls for 67 yards and a TD. Again, great courage with that touchdown catch because you knew he was going to get hit. He caught it anyway and took the hit, and then there was a penalty on Kent.
Yeah, he got lit up and held on to it, which was awesome. I think Izzy's at 7 touchdowns for the year, which I think is first or second in the MAC. And you know, like I said, he's quietly stringing together a really nice season.
Tell us about that young wide receiver, Gene Lewis III. He had 4 catches. A little guy, but he is a guy that has a bright future, I think.
Yeah, Gene's a guy we recruited out of New York City. You know, has kind of fell behind Miles and Kyan and Alex on the depth chart for the first couple seasons, but you never know when your number's going to be called. He's had good practice habits, got his opportunity when Kai got hurt, and you know, was able to make some really positive plays for us.
Tight end Connor Kravac, 4 catches for 23. Had the big catch in the middle and that touchdown drive going down to tie it up, and he continues to get better and better. Big target at 6'4" and about 245.
Yeah, and you really forget, I mean, still a young guy. You know, with Jake Noel being out, you know, Connor's done a really good job stepping up, you know, in the run game in terms of his blocking, but also making the most of his opportunities in the pass game. Yeah. And made a really clutch catch there on the game time drive. Exactly.
Offensive line coach, how about center Colin Lyons and right guard Kalen Davis? I think both played pretty well.
They did. You know, Colin like I said, he's the anchor of that offensive line, kind of the glue that holds it together. You know, team captain. You know, makes all the calls, and Keelan's played the most football out of anyone on the O-line, and like we've talked about, a much improved unit this year.
Exactly. We already talked a little bit about Owen Wiley with that great onside kick. He also did a great job. I knew you wanted to kick it away from Kent's good return man. He did a good job of pooch kicking, I think, all game long.
Yeah, good game plan by Coach Mavico that we weren't going to, you know, sky that thing deep, particularly with the wind, and then allow him to you know, be a critical factor in the game. So we went short middle, we went deep right, and then obviously the you know, the surprise onside that got us an additional position. Those were all key plays in the game.
Yeah. Your punters, Braden Johnson and Joseph Castle, 3 kicks inside the 20. Good field position.
Yeah, Castle got banged up a little bit on one of the kicks, and Braden had an opportunity. He's a guy that kind of does well with the sky kick, so anytime he could get 3 inside the 20. We had one that was a little bit of leaky coverage with the 21-yard return in the face mask, but outside of that, I thought we did a good job pinning them deep and creating long fields for their offense.
We talked about Brandon Hills had the 41-yard kickoff return. I keep expecting him to break one. He's got great speed once he gets into that secondary. He's still got one game to do it.
Yeah, confirmed track times.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities, and it was good to see him bust one out with a 41-yarder this week.
We mentioned also Big Ronald Hall, the 300-pounder from Washington, D.C., had a sack, a tackle for a loss, recovered a fumble. He was active. He's a guy that can keep getting better and better.
Yeah, another young guy. And like you said, losing Lama and Marcus, we knew we were going to have to step up on the interior, and he and Julian have done a really nice job, along with Kyan and John Trail Mixon and Kaiwan Murphy. Yeah. And Ronald had a really nice game against Kemp.
Yeah, take an overall look at the team, Coach. They were so excited. You saw the enthusiasm on the field as we came back from 18 points down. Everybody waving towels into that game. It had to be disappointing to talk to those guys after the game. That was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. It was crushing, and we had poured so much into it, and obviously, rivalry games are passionate, and we knew it was at stake relative to getting our 5th and 6th wins. So there were a lot of things that were disappointing regarding the loss, and particularly with how close we were to pulling that thing out. But it was somber would be probably an overstatement to describe, and it should be. I mean,
sure.
You shouldn't be in there celebrating a loss, and there's not a moral victory. Or we played our butts off, and like I said, we had to find a way to make one more play.
Exactly. Well, there is one more game left. There's just a chance to get to 5 wins this year. That'll happen Tuesday night up at Bowling Green. 7 o'clock kickoff against the Falcons. We're coming right back to talk about Bowling Green right after this.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college,
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Well, just one game left in the 2025 season. That'll be on Tuesday night. A little more action up at Deutsch Perry Stadium at Bowling Green. The Falcons come in, coach, with a record of 3-7. They're 1-5 in the MAC, coached by Eddie George in his first year up there.
Yeah, and he's they kind of started off hot. Hit a little bit of a rough stretch there. He made a late season coordinator change. But certainly they're a very talented team. Deutsch a tough place to play. Jeff Fisher's kid is their defensive coordinator and really has them playing good football. And it's going to be a challenging game. So a lot for us to play for. You look, haven't had 5 wins in a season since 2017. Haven't had 4 league wins since 2017, and haven't won 3 of our last 4 since 2015. And most importantly, getting a win to send our seniors off the right way. Exactly.
They lost up at Eastern Michigan in their last game, although they led at halftime. Their big win this year is against arch rival Toledo. They won that one 28-13 at home, which shows you the type of potential they have. But boy, they have been banged up. I think they're down to their 4th quarterback this year.
Yeah, they are. The Drew Pine kid who I offered, it's an 8th grader or 9th grader coming out of New Canaan High School, and he's been to a bunch of different schools. But yeah, they've been injury plagued, particularly at the quarterback position. They run the ball really well. Big, strong, physical offensive line. Some good tight ends, and like you say, you play Bowling Green, it's going to be a really, really physical football game.
Yeah, they're starting a redshirt freshman. At least they did against Eastern Michigan. Young transfer from Washington State. He was 11 for 15 for 129 yards. He was sacked twice, but they've had time now to get him used to that offense.
Yeah, and haven't played a game, I believe, in 10 days.
That's right.
So they kind of had the mini bye week that we did after UMass. So we know we're going to get their best. They're very well coached. They're talented. And it's going to be, I think, a heck of a football game.
They got a big running back that transferred in from Missouri. He had 113 yards and 2 touchdowns against EMU. So maybe with the redshirt freshman, you may see a lot of the running game from Bowling Green.
Yeah, you're never sure because they have some talented receivers and tight ends to get the ball to in the pass game. But, I think they do a good job playing to their strengths. So we got to kind of anticipate a little bit of the opposite of last week. And, that we – for Kent, we had to prepare for him to throw it over our head. For Bowling Green, we got to be prepared for him to try to run it down our throat. But obviously, anything could happen.
One game left, Coach. Let's finish strong, get win number 5, and build for next year. For the coach, my name's Joe Dunn. Thanks for watching. Back next week with more Zips Weekly. And always remember, go Zips.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college,
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.